I'll answer the question the way it was put. First of all, veterans and then current active duty personnel. I have an advantage, I think, in being a veteran. I see a number of veterans come in and they're very angry at the system, and there are many other issues going on with them other than their dispute before family court. They have a feeling that they do not have resources for medical, for support. The dignity issue, of course, is there for so many veterans, especially of my vintage. And so connecting with them, I see a very peaceful reaction to that, and it's helpful. With veterans, you have to know what the resources of the group are. For example, in our drug court program, as I've mentioned, a special calendar exists. It's a very honored calendar. All the other calendars stop at noon so that this group of clients before the court can be heard. And also, many veterans don't know what their resources are, so a gentle direction as to where they might find an ability to get medical treatment and other things is a help. And understanding that they need to stay with people who help them. Many of our veterans who come to court are using VA counseling services. Those are not as adequate, if they ever were, as they were 5 or 6 years ago. So we have to understand that and deal with that as best we can. It's just another connection point, and I think every connection point is a help to a judge. Then let's talk about active duty personnel. The Soldiers and Sailors Relief Act that John mentioned is very important, and for some reason is not being talked about as much as it was in the 1980s. As you know, I'm sure, the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Act says that when a service person is in a combat area, they are entitled to have their case continued until they can reasonably return. And if they do not or if they're not given that opportunity, the court is mandated, one of the few federal mandates, to appoint counsel for that service person so that person can be represented. I had a case the other day, a motion that it was going to be that the service person was going to call from a field phone in Iraq to take part in the motion. And it was decided very quickly that that could be rearranged for that person's return. So that was what happened. But it's a different era where now you can have almost instantaneous connection with people in the field. You have to ask the question of the person who is in uniform before you, what do you know is going to happen next? It's important to know where they are and where they are headed and to deal with them in the most expeditious way possible. Thank you. Terry Marin, by the way.
Can I make one quick comment?
Since we actually need to stop, we're actually running into Justice of the Peace Department 3's time right now.
Well, since many lawyers listen to this, and I think this is an important issue, take me 15 seconds.
Actually,
Go, John. Let him.
all right, go ahead, John.
This is more for the lawyers who may listen into this. One of the problems we see with either veterans or current active duty personnel is with the benefits that are there and the elections that have to be made at certain key time periods. And if you don't make those or make a decision and judges don't know to make those decisions, it can create real travesties later on. So I just want the lawyers that are listening to this later on to realize whenever you're dealing with a veteran, talk to somebody that knows about retirement benefits and things of that nature.